All right. In what ways do you feel that you are limited?
Mm.
In
Who wants to
what
start it?
ways do you feel? So I think I'll start. So financially, so like what Danny had said earlier, like something in his bucket list to have a house. I want to have a house, but I feel like I'm limited with not having enough funds to be able to actually. I could probably do it, but I feel like I'm one of those people that I don't want to ever be in debt. But I know when it comes to like something big, like a car or a house, I'm gonna have to either like
Yeah.
get a loan, which means I'll be in debt. But like everything that I've ever bought before,
so like
I've
even
always
like
paid off.
cars were like fully paid off.
Fully paid off. Like my truck, my Lexus, all the cars, all the things. I've never been on credit. I've never had to get a loan, and I've never like basically like had to owe or be in debt. So I feel like I'm limited to be able to have a home or a nice car because I feel like I need to have the money, which I know I don't have to, but it's just I'm one of those people like I want to be secured, you know?
Like a mental thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one because if you had the financial funds to buy a house fully, and even if it blew through a lot of your savings, you'd prefer that versus getting a loan.
Yeah, or having to pay,
a
you know,
monthly
which I know I
mortgage.
probably will because, you know, homes here in California are $750K minimum. So,
Yeah.
you know, who has that like right now or unless you're like James and become a millionaire soon.
Yeah, that's true. I think I would agree with you on that because even for me, like I think right now at this point in my life it's the most debt I've been in because of the home itself. It's well over $300,000 in debt that's already in the like I owe because of the house. So even though like that's kind of like a norm where people pay a mortgage, but it's still debt like any like a credit card or a car payment or some type of loan, personal loan or something like that. It's still like you have interest on top of that. You still have a financing that you're doing, and then also it's a monthly thing that you're also paying. So yeah, I can see that. As far as what was the question again?
In what ways do you feel that you've been limited or you are limited?
I think a lot of my projects I could expand and have further progress if I had more financial means towards it. So I think kind of like yours, a financial limitation. But then again, I think of something that comes too easy won't be as successful as something that comes hard and grows organically.
Amen.
Yeah. Danny?
Yeah, I'll go financial too.
Money.
It's the
Financial
easy,
limitation.
simple one to kind of point out.
It's a cop out.
It's a cop out. It's definitely a cop out. I just couldn't think of any other ones.
Richie Rich?
Can I get deep?
Yeah, good deep.
Get real deep, knees deep.
What would you do if fear wasn't in the way?
Fear?
If fear wasn't in the way.
You
Fear.
feel like the mental like health or like the mental fear could be
Like-
That's a good one.
limiting
Like
people.
I've been in the works of starting this company. We're there, like, basically there.
Yeah,
The closer I get to it, I've built a business 2 times, 2 different
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Third time, there's those times I was like super courageous, you know, ready to like take my keys to the city, you know. This time around, I'm scared, bro.
And I feel like do you think you're scared or like do you think you have that fear because like there's more responsibility,
There's more risk.
yeah,
I didn't have a wife, didn't
exactly,
have a kid.
yeah, exactly.
There's more to lose if
Exactly,
if
yeah.
you.
I mean, it was always sink or swim, but
But now it's like you
There's
got to
more
carry your
at stake.
family with
Now it's more of a think or swim.
What?
What?
no.
No. I just was thinking of the TD Ameritrade. Their platform is called Thinkorswim.
Oh my gosh, this guy.
So your fear of starting this business here is different because now you have a wife and a kid, your family basically. Like, how does that change? I just want to like be able to kind of understand that.
because I was reckless. I was a single reckless guy, you know.
Yeah.
But that recklessness and fearlessness
Well, it's like that,
caused
that's what
you to
that's
build
what
that
allowed
business.
allowed courage, allowed
Courage, because like in my eyes, I didn't have nothing to lose. Yeah, I put all this like everything I had into it.
Yeah, you were fine with accepting failure on your own.
Yeah.
But now, as soon as like now that there's family, now that you have your wife, you have your kid, if you do sink, you're having to pull them down with you.
Yeah, and it's crazy
Yeah,
because then I like quit my job the day I got the license with no like leads of jobs or any sort. I just quit my job, went 100 miles an hour. Now I got the license and I'm like keeping my job in the meantime while jobs start to come.
Yeah,
I see what you mean.
that's crazy.
And then just to kind of like mention it, like how you're saying, like now you kind of think about it twice. You're not just like making that decision like, oh, I'm just gonna leave my job, I'll find something.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was thinking about that too. Like I just recently quit my job, and that was just because of circumstances, and it was my own choice. But I was just saying to myself, like, I don't think I would have done that decision of lose or leave my job if I had a spouse or a kid.
Yeah.
Like it's something
Exactly.
like I'm like, no, like what if that fear of like, what if I don't find something? What if I don't have a way to financially support my family, myself, or some, like all of us? So I'm like, but I'm like, you know what, if I right now like fail or I don't find something, like it's all right. But I was just thinking about that right now, like when you said about your wife and your kid, I'm like, yeah, I would have totally like have that fear, like
You would have kept your job.
I would have kept my job. I wouldn't like, just leave it. Or at least I would have had something already like,
Lined up.
up.
I mean, yeah, I think the best time to fail is when you're single and when you don't have like those responsibilities of like a wife or of a kid.
And somebody told me this is the best time to start a business. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I know. I don't.
I don't know.
In an extent, I don't agree.
Yeah,
It's a scary time to start a business.
I kind of would agree with that a little bit because so you kind of have to see it the opposite way. There's been a lot of people before you that have started their business. Well, they have probably more than one kid and a marriage and a house and maybe even more of risk in their plate that they would have to risk that all to potentially build something greater. I'd say those people probably tapped into the fact that drive that they get from, I have to make this work because of the fact that I have a house or I have a wife, I have kids, I have that responsibility that I have to provide one way or another. I have to make it win. Like I have to win.
Yeah.
So I need to bring home the bacon. So I think those people tap into that and force themselves to face that fear and push past it and actually start their business and try to get leads and try to prepare everything as much as possible. But like anything, even with the kids, you're never going to really fully be prepared for it all.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I would agree with you because
But
even me starting my business, there was a lot of times where, I mean, right now it's not at the point where I want it to be, and it definitely needs to grow further. But a lot of it is, there was a step back because of the fear of, okay, well, what if we can't get this job done, or what if the financial means aren't there, or what if the calls aren't coming, like the phone isn't ringing? How am I supposed to do it? How am I supposed to move forward? So it's definitely nicer when you have a job to anchor you down to, like, okay, if this doesn't work out, we still have this money coming in every single paycheck type of deal. So yeah, I'd say fear does play into it a lot, because if fear wasn't in there, you wouldn't double guess your
If there wasn't fear, there'd be
your options.
like a million more businesses in this world.
Definitely. Yeah.
could be, but also I think fear is good in a sense.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like,
Because the fear, exactly, is driving you to.
be mindful
cautious.
of what you do. Yeah, not to just be reckless. You're at least being limited, or you're like being wise about what you decide to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I would agree with
A
that.
little bit of fear is fine, but when it's just controlling everything,
Overwhelming fear is where
you don't move anywhere.
businesses go to fail.
Or where you
the
stay
graveyard
in your
starts.
comfort zone and never grow out of it, or you're just a employee for the rest of your life working for someone else. And that's it.
And
Nothing wrong with that though.
Yeah, and I was talking to this guy one time. He was an older guy, and he had the same job for like 20 years, but the guy's pay is crap, man. it's crap. Like he told, like, and I didn't tell him that because you know,
Right.
but like he did tell me his pay, and he had like 6 kids, and they're older now, but he had those kids since like, I mean, he had that job since those kids were young.
Oh, really?
You know, but like, which is crazy because a lot of those older guys, they stick to what worked.
Yeah.
Because of fear, you know, which is wild because, like, yeah, I don't know. It's just a thought, you know, because
No, they kind
they
of get
stick to
stuck
what,
there.
what works because their family's at stake.
Right.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if they venture off and try something different, that could mean there's a month without groceries or something like that, or a week without a paycheck or something like that. That can affect them tremendously. And I think ultimately the best way to do it is kind of like the way Alex did it, where you build up a good little cushion. And even like for us, we have emergency fund money. This is just general money for any emergency that pops up. Like I was telling you guys earlier about the $1,600 sprinkler repair that we need to do in the house. I mean, or not repair, but like up to date stuff that's just a random miscellaneous bill that's got to get paid regardless of if you're making more money, if you're making less money, if you made the same amount of money. So emergency fund money is good for you, and same thing for like businesses. Emergency fund money or expansion money.
Yeah.
Save up that money so that there is that cushion of, in case something bad happens, you're not doing it the way you were doing it before, where it's like, okay, I'm fearless. Let's go try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, at least you have that to cushion you.
Yeah.
So it's not that hard of a fall. So I think if a lot of people have can save up for a specific like emergency fund to cushion certain projects that they're going to pursue, they would have a bigger chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think everybody has the opportunity to do that, you know, to create that cushion money. You know, there's families that unfortunately, you know, the
Paycheck to paycheck.
yeah, they live paycheck to paycheck. The
circumstances that they're-
husband, the wife, they're both working their butts off. And like you were saying, how that guy had that job for 20 plus years and never came out of that, or just kept on doing what he knew was the only thing he knew, basically. Sometimes they're limited to time, to resources, to the language. You know, a lot of people coming to the U.S. not, you know, knowing the language and just settling with whatever job they find, and that's all they know. That's all they do for the rest of their lives, and they're okay with it. But sometimes not because they want to, but because that's the only thing that's available for them. Maybe they would want something better, and obviously sometimes the kids are the ones that might have that opportunity to be able to change that. You know, not stay with that kind of pattern. You know,
I think it's also like perspective too. Like they know going into the situation that they're heading into, they know, you know, okay, well, you know, I'm this much years old. I have a family. I have, you know, kids that I'm trying to raise. Like I'm not going to be able to take certain risks. So I have to make my situation as best as I can so that my kids can grow up and be in even better situations. And, you know, we've talked about it before. Like that's essentially the best. That's almost every goal for a father or for a parent, is to have your kids grow up in a better situation than you grew up in.
I would agree with what you said, Alex, but I can't, because even though you're right, there's a lot of people out there that have limitations. That's the beauty of the whole American dream here. There is opportunity to become more. There is chances to, okay, yeah, the paycheck to paycheck, that sucks, and that seems like it's a possibility. It's going to stay like that unless you pick up a second job. And even though, yes, you're going to have to sacrifice maybe spending some time with your kids, or having to do a, I don't know, 50-hour week, 60-hour week. You're trying to get yourself out of that situation, and that's the only way that you can actually do it. And if you don't take the chances, you'll never get out of it. And I know that there's a lot of people that language barriers here is a difficulty, but there's night school, there's YouTube, there's different ways for you to learn the language. Even if it's difficult, there is ways you can try and ask for help and get to that point where you now have a new skill that can benefit you. Because I know for sure, like in the past, I've had different people that could have became technicians at certain jobs that I was at, but the language barrier was one of the things that they couldn't speak the English. They knew the job, but they couldn't speak English, so they couldn't get the job. So if they went on YouTube, spent an hour on
I mean, it depends
A
on
lesson.
how people learn, because some people learn
Yeah.
quick, some people it takes a bit of time.
But how much is like going to the library and picking up how to learn English?
But
book
like
or
the other
YouTube
thing
or
is,
anything
as you grow
else.
older, your cognitive skills are they're not as you're not as they're more slowed down. They're more it's harder to learn.
Yes,
when you're older than
But
when you're younger.
the thing about you being older is you also know the best way you learn. I know now versus like being in school, I do way better with videos and audio. If I watch something and if I can hear it, I can learn faster. The way I did my testing for my license wasn't through open book and just doing that. It was DVDs and audiobooks. That's the way I got my license. I believe the same way. If the older you get, the more of a understanding on, okay, I don't know how to read and learn at the same time, but I can do audiobooks. I can't do videos, but I can do audiobooks.
Well, again, we're kind of talking like right now with that. How old were you
For what?
when you realized how you learned and everything? Because I feel like that to a certain extent right now you're still young. I'd say
Right.
Whereas if you're 50, 60, like even though say you do learn better with audiobooks and stuff, you're still at a bigger disadvantage just because you're not as a sponge as when you were younger. Like I don't know the exact statistic or what age it cuts off, but there's a certain age where you pick up things very fluidly, and at a certain point it just kind of like knocks off. Like it's harder to grasp and understand things
and learn.
Right.
and learn. You see a lot of, I mean, there's rare occasions where like you see 50, 60-year-olds on iPhones, like sending emails, and like they're all modern and everything. There's other people that just struggle at they're looking at it like, like
Right.
an
Mhm.
old-
But
looking
like,
at it
It's
how
easy
do you-
for us,
yeah,
but for them, it could be.
it's hard to adjust
hard.
to.
Yeah.
Hard to adjust to.
Let's just say,
Right.
like, for example, let's just say our moms. Why don't they learn right now, like English? Why don't they get a better job? Just think about the limitations that they have. Sure, you can say they have all the free time. Sure, they can listen to audiobooks and all that stuff, but it becomes harder. The brain is like, it's a machine that starts to wear down, and our whole body basically wears down. So it's your highest priority, like every day, is like, I gotta eat, I gotta work, and I gotta sleep. And then anything else that you could fit in, like, sure, but you have to know where to find the time to do not just learning but other things.
Like if you look at like our parents alone, like you see my mom knows a lot more English than my dad. But my mom was also younger. Like she's like, there's a 7-year gap right there. Like she's younger and she was able to,
Your
understand.
dad?
Yeah. So like there's that gap, but that was enough for her to be able to grasp and understand things rather than my dad, who he's been in America for like the longest time, but still it's it's a struggle for him. It just really depends.
but even then, my dad went to a trade school here, and that was English based.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of it isn't, like I said, he got his license as a welder, and when he got here, he didn't know that much English either.
Right.
And even now he probably knows more English than before, he still had a struggle in an actual school setting because of the trade.
But he still
But he
pursued.
pursued
Yeah, he's
it,
still pursued, yeah.
and he
like,
got it.
This is gonna
because of the
sound
fact.
this is gonna sound rude, but whether you want it, either you want it or you don't.
Yeah.
And I was a coach for a little bit, and I used to tell these guys, like a couple guys that were losing a lot, and I would tell them, like, you just don't want to bad enough.
Yeah, it's true.
You just don't want to bad enough. And I told him, look at these guys. This guy wanted to beat you bad enough, and he beat you and made you look like a fool. You
And
know?
it's true, because if you think about it, if I'm out there an hour early trying to get further, like if you're talking about competition, I'm gonna get better way further than the other guy if he's spending 8 hours and I'm spending 9 to 10 hours every single day. There's gonna be a big difference. So let's say that's why, like a lot of you guys know, I got rid of my TV. Why? Because I thought it was a distraction. So I can further myself in certain things that I want to educate myself on, as well as audiobooks. I read a lot of, or I listen to a lot of audiobooks because I want to push myself even further. I do think that compared to people in my age, I have accomplished a lot the way that you've accomplished a lot in our age. We could go back and look at our friends that maybe chose different paths and they weren't as successful at certain things, or the certain things that they were very passionate about but didn't pursue it, and it affected them in a negative way. But let's say if Alex decided to spend 1 hour every single day for the next 12 months to learn about electrical, anything electrical based. By the end of the year, I can guarantee you he'll probably be doing more proficient electrical jobs than a lot of average people that are electricians.
Because he wanted to bad enough.
Right.
Because you wanted to bad enough, you put the time into it.
Yeah.
I don't know Spanish, and I've never wanted to learn bad enough, which is why I still don't know Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to bad enough.
But even
Yeah.
like
But
what he was talking about earlier about the guys that you ended up mentoring in the landscaping business that you have, your wife's cousins.
Yeah.
What happened when they went to you and pretty much asked, "Okay, you teach me. I'll pick up as much as I can
Oh,
and
yeah.
go from there."
Oh yeah.
What were the results? They're
killing it.
they're killing it.
Yeah.
They're getting great reviews, and it's all because they
wanted
pushed
to.
themselves more.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I don't know if me and Alex are on the same page, but I'm not arguing that it's impossible for, once at a certain age that, it's impossible to be able to, reach a certain goal. I'm just saying there becomes a threshold to where it's just harder. You're limited.
Oh yeah.
So
Hands
like
down, it's
when
gonna
you're
be
younger,
harder.
you're a sponge. There's a lot more institution, and you don't need as much determination to get what you want. At a certain point, your age meets that institution where it's like you can't learn. Like it's harder to learn. So now you need even more determination to reach what you want to learn. So that's what I mean. And so I mean, obviously, when you get older, it's hard to learn. So you need to literally want it, like you said. You have to want it to be able to get it.
Bro, what size shoe do you wear?
Me? I'm 11 and a half.
Just out of left field.
They look big.
Yeah. You know what they say?
Big feet.
Big socks.
Big socks.
Socks. Yeah. Oh no. I think if someone's truly motivated enough, they can accomplish anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, if you gave me 6 weeks and one specific topic and I was motivated to do it, I could get it down. I could do whatever job you wanted me to do, but it also depends on how motivated I am.
Exactly.
How much time I'm putting in, because hands down, if it's like, oh, okay, well, you are going to go try to become
I want
an
you to
accountant
become
or something like that. I don't know.
I want you to become the
ballerina.
first woman's astronaut to touch the moon.
Okay, well, I'm not a woman.
Exactly.
So you won't do it.
I could be
He's
the
not
first
motivated.
to
want
Not
to bad
motivated.
enough.
He's just not motivated.
We just said you could be or do anything you want if you
No,
really
but like,
are
okay,
motivated.
let's say CHP. We're trying to work with the CHP. If I put the time in, maybe try to get like some type of associates to make my resume look better, and maybe some other positions as a call taker for T-Mobile or something like that. I don't know. That has somewhat of a resume that I can present to them, then I could have potentially a higher percentage than other people, right?
No. You need a bachelor's.
Okay, let's say I had enough time to actually get my bachelor's, and then part-time I was doing call taking for, I don't know, a clinic. That would also make me look good in their eyes when I do go to apply to potentially get the job, because not only I'll have work experience, but bachelor's in that. But it all takes time. It all takes determination and passion to really get to that point,
Potentially.
potentially.
Yeah.
Initially.
Statistically.
statistically speaking,
Emotionally.
I'll be there. Hypothetically.
In the last few like weeks, I've realized it's not just like motivation will just get you to a certain point. Like that's great and stuff, and you'll feel good when you have that motivation, that
Yeah.
drive. Like in the middle of the night, you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this tomorrow or this weekend. I'm gonna get up at 6 a.m. and go for a run. But when that happens, like when you get to that point where it's just like you don't have motivation, or it's already 6 a.m. on Saturday, you're like in bed, you're like, I don't want to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, that's not.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say last thing, or real quick. It's not that's where motivation's out the door. That's where discipline
Yes.
is the most
Discipline.
important thing. Discipline
Yeah.
will get you to where you want to get.
Exactly, and that's what I was gonna say.
Motivation is coffee. Eventually, it wears off.
Motivation is a spark. That's what that is. But you need fuel, which is the discipline.
Discipline.
It's like marriage, like loving somebody. Like at first, like you're gonna have the sparks, you know, but
Yeah,
later
that
on
honeymoon-
you gotta
that honeymoon
choose. You gotta-
phase.
yeah, you gotta choose, constantly choose to
Love that person.
cultivate that love.
Compromise him.
No, it's true.